Ryan always thought nights were supposed to be quiet. His small bedroom, tucked away at the far end of the house, usually offered nothing but the sound of crickets outside the window and the hum of his computer cooling fan. It was just another ordinary night. He had stayed up later than usual, reading a sci-fi comic on his tablet. The pages showed bold heroes battling alien monsters in space. Ryan smiled, thinking how exciting it would be if something like that ever happened to him. But in reality, life in his little town was boring. Nothing unusual ever happened here. At least, not until tonight. The strange light, just as Ryan was about to turn off his tablet, the air in his room seemed to change. The temperature dropped slightly, and his skin prickled as if static electricity filled the air. At first he thought it was his imagination, but then he saw it. A strange light glowing in the middle of his room. It wasn't coming from the lamp, the tablet, or even the moonlight outside. It was something new. A circle of faint blue sparks appeared in the air, growing brighter and spinning like a whirlpool. Ryan's jaw dropped. "What the?" he whispered. The glowing circle stretched wider until it was the size of a doorway. His heart pounded. He thought maybe he had fallen asleep with his comic and was now dreaming. That had to be it. But then, something stepped through. The girl who fell from the stars a figure stumbled out of the glowing portal. The light flickered once and vanished behind her, leaving only the darkness of Ryan's room again. Ryan froze. He couldn't move, couldn't breathe. It was a girl. At least she looked mostly like a girl, maybe his age, maybe a little older. But there was no mistaking she was not human. Her skin gave off a faint silver glow, almost like moonlight. Her eyes were large and a brilliant shade of violet, glowing softly in the dark. Her hair was long and flowing, a pale blue that seemed to shimmer as she moved. She looked around, disoriented, her breathing fast. Then her gaze fell on Ryan. Both of them stared at each other. Neither spoke at first. Ryan's brain screamed, "Alien!" Alien. Alien fear and curiosity. Finally, Ryan found his voice. "Who are you?" The girl blinked, tilting her head as if trying to understand him. She said something in a strange language, soft, musical, and completely unfamiliar. Ryan shook his head. I don't understand you. The girl's..." Brow furrowed. She pressed a glowing device on her wrist, and her voice shifted slightly. This time her words were broken but understandable. "Where? I?" she asked. Ryan swallowed hard. "You're in my room, in my house, on Earth." Her eyes widened at the word Earth. She muttered something to herself in her own language before answering slowly. "Not right place. Wrong. Accident." Introducing. Lyra Ryan dared to step closer, though every nerve in his body screamed to run. "Who are you?" he asked again. She hesitated, then placed a hand on her chest. "Lyra," she said. "Lyra," Ryan repeated, the name rolling awkwardly off his tongue. "I'm Ryan." For the first time, the alien girl gave a small, cautious smile. But it faded quickly. She looked around his room, then back at him, her expression filled with unease. "Not safe," she said. "Need return. Portal broken." Ryan frowned. "Portal? You mean that thing you just came out of?" She nodded, her silver glow dimming slightly as if she were exhausted. The decision to help Ryan rubbed his face, trying to convince himself this was real. An alien girl had just appeared in his bedroom. What was he supposed to do? Tell his parents? Call the police? Call NASA? But one look at her, tired, confused, clearly scared, made his choice for him. She didn't look like some invader from the comics. She looked lost. You can stay here," Ryan said slowly. "At least until you figure out what to do. Lyra." tilted her head again, studying him with those glowing violet eyes. You help? Ryan nodded, though he wasn't entirely sure what helping meant in this situation. Yes, I'll help. A Knight of Secrets Lyra moved cautiously around his room, touching objects curiously, his lamp, his books, his chair. Each time her expression showed wonder and confusion. She seemed especially interested in the tablet, running her fingers across the screen as Ryan showed her how it worked. Many stories, she said in broken English, pointing at the comic panels. Ryan chuckled nervously. Yeah, stories about aliens, space battles, stuff like that. She gave a small smile but didn't laugh. Instead, she touched the glowing device on her wrist, murmuring softly in her language. The device flickered but then gave a dull beep. She frowned. Broken, she muttered. Cannot call. Ryan guessed it was some kind of communicator. If it was broken, then she really was stranded here. The bond begins hours passed as they tried to talk, though the language barrier made it slow. Ryan learned small things about her. She was from a place far beyond Earth's solar system. She was supposed to be on a mission, something about gathering information. But the teleport, or whatever it was, had gone wrong. She seemed fascinated by human life, asking Ryan simple questions about food, family, and why humans kept so many shiny objects in one room. Ryan laughed, pointing out his posters, his trophies, his gadgets. At one point, Lyra asked softly, Danger? Here? Ryan thought for a moment. Not really. Earth's not that dangerous. Well, unless you count school, traffic, or my mom, when she's angry. Lyra tilted her head, clearly confused, but Ryan grinned. For the first time, the fear inside him began to fade. The promise. Finally, exhaustion hit them both. Ryan yawned and sat on the edge of his bed. Lyra stood by the window, looking out at the night sky. Stars. Far, she whispered. Ryan looked at her glowing figure framed by the moonlight. Yeah, really far. She turned to him. You promise help? Ryan hesitated, then nodded firmly. I promise. Lyra seemed to relax at that. She moved to sit on the floor near his bed, curling up like she was finally safe. Within minutes, her breathing slowed, and she drifted into sleep. Ryan lay awake a little longer, staring at the ceiling. His heart was still racing, his mind spinning. An alien girl had appeared in his room tonight. He didn't know what tomorrow would bring, but one thing was certain. His life would never be boring again. Ryan woke to the faint sound of movement. His first thought was that his mother had come into his room, but when his eyes opened, he remembered everything from last night. The alien girl, Lyra, was still there. She was crouched by his desk, curiously poking at the keyboard with glowing fingers. The computer screen flickered awake under her touch. Her silver skin shimmered faintly in the morning light that slipped through the curtains. For a moment, Ryan just watched. The sight was unreal yet strangely peaceful. She looked less like a dangerous alien and more like someone who was simply lost in the wrong place. When she noticed he was awake, Lyra froze. Her large violet eyes blinked, and then she tilted her head, trying to copy the human gesture of a smile. Good. Morning, she said slowly, her words broken but understandable. Ryan sat up, rubbing his eyes. Yeah, good morning. Hiding from the parents, a loud knock came on the bedroom door. Ryan nearly jumped out of his skin. Ryan, are you awake? His mother's voice called. His heart pounded. He glanced at Lyra, who looked at him in confusion. He whispered quickly, Hide! Lyra didn't ask questions. She slipped silently under his bed, her glowing hair dimming until she almost blended into the shadows. Ryan cleared his throat. Yeah, Mom, I'm awake. Breakfast is ready, she said. Don't be late. Got it. Her footsteps faded down the hall. Ryan let out a long breath and leaned down to peek under the bed. Lyra's bright violet eyes blinked. Back at him? You safe? She asked. Ryan nodded. Yeah, but you can't let anyone see you. If my parents find out, I'm dead. She frowned. Dead? Not really dead, Ryan explained. Just big trouble. Trying to communicate. Once the danger passed, Ryan sat cross-legged on the floor while Lyra climbed out from under the bed. They stared at each other, the air filled with unspoken questions. Ryan decided they needed to talk, really talk. But the language barrier made things hard. Okay, he said, pointing to himself. Ryan. He then pointed to her. Lyra, she said. Good. Ryan nodded. He picked up a book and held it up. Book. She looked at it, then repeated carefully. Book? Ryan smiled. Yeah, book. You're learning. For the next hour, he showed her objects around the room. Lamp, chair, window, poster. She repeated each word slowly, sometimes stumbling, but always improving. In return, she gave him words from her language. Some were soft and musical, others sharp and quick. Ryan tried to copy her sounds, but she laughed softly each time he failed. It was the first time he heard her laugh, and it filled the room with a gentle warmth. Sharing their worlds, as the morning stretched on, Ryan learned more about her. Through broken words and gestures, Lyra explained she was from a star system called Vera, far beyond Earth. Her people traveled between worlds using portals of energy, like the one that brought her here. Her mission had been simple: gather information about humans without being seen. But the portal had malfunctioned, dropping her directly into his room instead. Mission broken, she said, her voice filled with frustration. Ryan listened carefully. He felt a strange mixture of fear and excitement. He was talking to someone from another world. His favorite sci-fi comics had just come to life. When it was his turn, he explained about Earth. He showed her pictures on his tablet, oceans, forests, mountains, and cities filled with people. She stared at each image with wide eyes, whispering softly in her language as if she couldn't believe such variety existed on one planet. Many places, she said. Yeah, Ryan replied. Earth's big, billions of people live here. Her eyes widened even more. Billions? Ryan nodded. Lyra seemed stunned by the number, as if she had never imagined so many beings living on a single world. First taste of Earth. Later, Ryan snuck some food from the kitchen. He returned with a plate of toast, eggs, and fruit. Lyra looked at the food with suspicion. What? This? Breakfast, Ryan said with a grin. Try it. She poked the toast first, sniffing it cautiously before taking a small bite. Her eyes lit up. Sweet. Warm. Ryan chuckled. That's butter and jam. Glad you like it? She tried the eggs next, tilting her head at the texture but eating them anyway. Finally, she tasted the fruit, her expression softening. Good. Fresh. Watching her discover human food was strangely entertaining. Ryan realized how much humans took these simple things for granted. You eat every day? She asked. Yeah, Ryan said. 3 times a day, usually. Her expression turned thoughtful, as if comparing it to her own world's customs. Trouble outside. Just as Ryan thought the day was going smoothly, a strange noise came from outside the window. It was faint at first, a low hum like a machine. Lyra stiffened instantly, her glowing skin dimming as if she were trying to hide herself. What is it? Ryan whispered. She shook her head. Not sure. Maybe Searcher. Ryan frowned. Searcher? From my people, she said. They look for me. His chest tightened. If her people were already searching, then hiding her would be harder than he thought. The noise faded after a few minutes, but the tension remained. Lyra sat near the window, staring at the sky with worry in her violet eyes. Ryan placed a hand on the desk near her. "Don't worry. You're safe here. I won't let anyone take you." She looked at him for a long moment, then gave a small nod. Bond. Growing stronger as the day turned to evening, their bond grew stronger. They continued teaching each other words, laughing at mistakes. Ryan showed her simple things like music on his phone. When he played a song, Lyra's eyes widened, and she pressed her ear close to the speaker, smiling as the rhythm filled the air. "Beautiful," she whispered. Ryan grinned. "Yeah, music is one of the best things about Earth." In return, she hummed a melody from her own world. It was soft and haunting, a tune that seemed to carry the feeling of starlight itself. Ryan sat in silence, listening, his chest tightening with a feeling he couldn't quite describe. The promise of tomorrow. That night, as Ryan prepared for bed, Lyra curled up again near the window, watching the stars. "You miss home?" Ryan asked quietly. She nodded. "Yes, but here, safe, with you." Ryan felt warmth spread in his chest at her words. He didn't know why, but he wanted to protect her. She wasn't just some strange visitor. She was his friend now. "Tomorrow," Ryan said, "we'll figure something out. Maybe fix your device, or at least learn more." Lyra gave a tired but genuine smile. "Tomorrow." Ryan turned off the light. The room once again filled with shadows. But this time the darkness felt less lonely, because in the middle of it sat a silver-skinned alien girl with violet eyes, someone who had come into his life by accident, yet already changed it forever. And though neither of them said it out loud, both knew that tomorrow would bring new challenges. But for now, tonight was peaceful. The next few days passed in a blur. Ryan and Lyra settled into a quiet routine, though it was anything but normal. During the day, Ryan went through his regular schedule, school, chores, dinner with his family, while secretly sneaking food and supplies for Lyra. At night, when everyone slept, they whispered in his room, sharing words, music, and stories. But something had changed since that first morning. The hum outside. The feeling of being watched. Lyra no longer seemed calm when she looked at the night sky. She stood by the window for long hours, her glowing violet eyes scanning the stars, as if expecting something to arrive. And then, the first real sign came. Tetter. Blackout it started one evening while Ryan was doing homework. His lamp flickered once, twice, and then went out. The computer screen died, the clock stopped ticking, and even the small hum of the fridge downstairs cut off. The whole house had gone dark. "Power outage?" Ryan muttered, confused. He grabbed a flashlight from his drawer and turned it on. But Lyra was already tense. Her silver skin flickered with brighter light as if her body sensed the change in the air. "Not power," she said in broken words. "Disrupt. Search." Ryan's stomach dropped. "You mean your people?" She nodded. Outside, the street was silent. Every house had gone dark. Neighbors peeked out with candles and phones, whispering to each other. But Ryan knew this wasn't just an ordinary blackout. Somewhere above, something was watching. The strange. Figures. That night, Ryan couldn't sleep. He and Lyra sat in silence, listening. The air outside was heavy, thick with tension. Then, near midnight, Ryan heard it, the sound of footsteps on the grass outside his window. His chest tightened. Slowly, he peeked through the curtains. 3 figures moved in the street. They weren't human. At first glance, they looked like shadows, tall and thin. But when a faint streetlight flickered, Ryan saw the truth. Their bodies were smooth and metallic, their heads featureless domes. They carried strange glowing rods, in their hands scanning the ground with sweeping beams of blue light. "Drones," Lyra whispered, her voice trembling. "They find me!" Ryan pulled the curtain shut quickly, his pulse hammered in his ears. "What do we do?" "Hide," she said firmly. "If see, capture. No safe." The first chase. The drones moved closer, their beams sweeping across yards, porches, and fences. Ryan could see the light growing brighter as it neared his house. Panic rose in his chest. If they came inside, there was no way he could explain this to his parents. Worse, Lyra would be taken. He grabbed her arm. "We have to move. Come on." Silently, they slipped out of his room and crept down the stairs. The house was pitch black, every creak of the floor sounding like thunder in Ryan's ears. They reached the back door. Ryan eased it open, and the cool night air rushed in. Together they stepped into the backyard, but a blue beam swept over the fence behind them. One of the drones turned its head, the glowing dome flashing brighter. "They see us," Ryan hissed. The drone emitted a sharp mechanical noise and began moving toward them. "Fast! Run!" Ryan shouted. Through the neighborhood, Ryan and Lyra sprinted down the alley, their footsteps pounding against the pavement. The drone's hum grew louder as it chased them, beams cutting through the darkness. "Left!" Ryan pointed, leading Lyra between houses. They darted through a neighbor's yard, leapt over a small fence, and crashed into another alley. Lyra moved quickly despite her unfamiliarity with Earth's terrain, her silver glow flickering as she ran. But the drones weren't giving up. Two more appeared at the end of the street, blocking their path. Ryan skidded to a stop. "We're trapped!" Lyra's eyes flashed. She pressed the device on her wrist, sparks flickering across it. The screen glowed faintly, then spat out a weak pulse of energy. The drones staggered for a moment, their lights flickering. "Go!" she shouted, pulling Ryan toward an opening. They slipped through, hearts racing, disappearing into the night. Moment of safety. They finally collapsed behind an abandoned shed at the edge of the neighborhood. Ryan's chest burned as he gasped for air, sweat dripping down his forehead. "That was too close," he panted. Lyra leaned against the wall, her silver glow dim. "They know now. I hear. More will come." Ryan stared at her, still catching his breath. "So what? They think you were captured by humans or something?" She nodded. "Yes, they not trust. Think humans dangerous." Ryan almost laughed at the irony. "Well, they're not wrong. We just tricked 3 of their machines with fences and alleys." Lyra gave him a tired but faint smile. Ryan's determination, for a long moment, silence filled the air. The only sound was the distant hum of the drones still searching the neighborhood. Ryan clenched his fists. "I'm not letting them take you. You hear me? I don't care if they're aliens or whatever, they can't just come here and decide what happens." Lyra looked at him, her violet eyes wide. "You fight for me?" "Of course," Ryan said, his voice firm. "You came here. By accident, that's not your fault, and you're my friend now. Friends protect each other." Her expression softened. She touched her chest, then his, and whispered, "Friend." For the first time, Ryan felt a strange strength in his chest. He wasn't just some kid anymore. He was standing between an alien, girl, and the machines that wanted to take her away. Strange evidence. The next morning, the town buzzed with rumors. People whispered about the blackout, about strange lights in the sky. Some said it was a military test. Others claimed it was aliens. Ryan listened quietly, pretending to know nothing. But deep down, he knew the truth. That afternoon, while walking back home from school, he noticed something near the edge of the woods. A small piece of metal half buried in the dirt, glowing faintly blue. He picked it up carefully. The object pulsed with energy, humming softly in his hand. When he showed it to Lyra later, her eyes widened. "Piece of drone. Broken. Ryan turned it over. Maybe we can use it. If we figure out how this works, maybe we can fight back. Lyra hesitated, then nodded slowly. Yes. Human clever. Maybe. The growing threat. That night, the sky above the town flickered with faint lights. Ryan stood at his window, watching. They weren't stars. They were moving, patterns of glowing orbs scanning the ground, more drones, more searchers. They won't stop, Lyra said quietly behind him. Until I gone. Ryan swallowed hard, fear knotting his stomach. But beneath the fear was something else, determination. Then we won't make it easy for them, he said. The silent oath before going to sleep. Ryan sat on the floor beside Lyra. She was repairing the small fragment of drone with careful fingers, sparks dancing softly. He watched her work, the glow of her skin reflecting off the walls. Finally, he whispered, "We'll beat them. You'll see. Humans don't give up." She looked at him, eyes shining in the dark. Humans? Strong? Ryan gave a small grin. Stronger than they think. She smiled faintly, then returned to her work. And as the night deepened, Ryan felt it in his bones. Danger was coming. Worse than before. But he wasn't afraid anymore, because he had made a silent oath. No matter what happened, he would protect Lyra, even if the whole galaxy came looking for her. The night had fallen heavier than usual. Ryan and Lyra crouched behind the abandoned shed near the edge of the town, their breaths visible in the cool air. The faint hum of drones echoed across the neighborhood, like distant storms that refused to fade. Ryan glanced at Lyra. "They're getting closer," he whispered. Her violet eyes glowed softly in the darkness. "Yes, many. Too many." Ryan swallowed hard. Fear sat in his stomach, but he refused to show it. He clenched his fists and scanned the area. They had to think fast. Running alone wouldn't work this time. The drones would follow them endlessly. Simple plan. Ryan's mind raced. "Okay," he said. "We can't fight them head on, but maybe we can trick them." Lyra tilted her head. "Trick? How?" Ryan's eyes lit up. "Humans are clever. We can use traps, distractions, and the things around us. It won't be easy, but we can slow them down." Lyra's eyes widened. She didn't fully understand, but she trusted him. "Yes, try." Ryan began picking up pieces of broken wood, loose wires, and old metal scraps from the shed. Lyra touched them curiously, asking questions as Ryan showed her how each item could be used. "Trap for drone?" she asked. "Exactly," Ryan said. "We're going to make them look foolish." First encounter, within minutes, a drone approached the shed. Its glowing rod scanned the area, humming a low mechanical note. Ryan held his breath. Lyra's glowing body dimmed as if trying to hide. Then Ryan activated the first trap. He threw a metal can across the yard. It clattered loudly on the pavement. The drone stopped, swiveling its dome toward the sound. Its sensors blinked as it tried to locate the source. "Now!" Ryan shouted. He and Lyra dashed toward the next trap. A tangle of wires stretched across the narrow alley. The drone followed, unaware. Its leg caught in the wires, tripping it. Forward. Sparks flew as its sensors shorted. Lyra gasped. "Human, clever!" Ryan grinned. "Told you, never underestimate humans." Using the neighborhood. The duo moved quickly through the streets, leading the drones into tighter spaces. Ryan knew the town like the back of his hand. He led Lyra down alleys, through fences and across yards, using every obstacle to slow the machines. Neighbors peered out of their windows, confused by the flashing lights and loud noises. Some even opened doors to see what was happening. Their presence, though unintended, further distracted the drones. The machines were built to track one target efficiently, but not for chaos. Ryan whispered, "They don't expect humans to fight back." or even think of it. Lyra nodded, impressed by his courage and quick thinking. Stronger than we thought. Unexpected allies. As they reached the main street, more drones appeared, cutting off their escape route. Ryan's heart raced. He looked around desperately for a plan. Then he noticed a group of kids riding bikes, shining flashlights across the street. Without thinking, Ryan grabbed Lyra's hand. "Follow me!" They dashed through the crowd. The bikes and lights confused the drones, which hesitated, unsure how to react. Ryan realized that sometimes humans didn't need fancy weapons, just numbers and clever thinking. Lyra's eyes sparkled. Humans, chaos, strong. Ryan laughed softly. Exactly. Together they led the drones into the town square, where power lines, street signs, and parked cars created a natural maze. The machines stumbled, slowed, and crashed into obstacles. Sparks flew everywhere, lighting the night like fireworks. Turning the tide, Ryan found a small electrical panel on the side of a building. He pointed to it. "That's it. I can short-circuit their sensors if we can lure them close enough." Lyra looked uncertain. "Dangerous. You?" "I'm careful," Ryan said, determination in his eyes. "You trust me, right?" She nodded. Trust. With Lyra distracting the drones using her glowing body, Ryan opened the panel and connected some wires to the broken drone piece they had found earlier. Electricity hummed through the setup. As a drone approached, Ryan flipped a switch. A surge of energy shot through the street, frying the drone's sensors. It collapsed with a loud thud, sparks flying everywhere. The other drones halted, confused. By the sudden disruption, Lyra's violet eyes glowed brighter. "Human! Amazing!" Ryan wiped sweat from his brow. "It's not magic. It's brains and courage." The chase continues. Despite their small victory, more drones were coming. Ryan and Lyra couldn't stay in one place. They ran toward the edge of town, using everything around them as traps. Old barrels, loose boards, even a stray dog barking at the right moment helped. Every little distraction slowed the machines, giving them just enough time to escape. At one point, a drone caught up to them in an alley. Lyra didn't hesitate. She pressed a glowing button on her wrist. A pulse of energy surged forward, knocking the drone backward. It hit the wall with a metallic crash, then lay still. Ryan stared at her. You can fight too?" She smiled faintly. "Yes. Help. You." Together they made a formidable team. Human brains and alien technology combining to outsmart the drones. The lesson for the drones by the time they reached the outskirts of town, the drones were badly damaged and confused. Some retreated, others remained inactive. Lyra looked at the destruction and then at Ryan. "They learn now. Humans? Clever? Dangerous?" Ryan nodded, smiling tiredly. "Yeah, and you should never underestimate a human either." For the first time, he felt proud, not just of himself, but of what humans could do when they refused to give up. Lyra's people may have thought humans weak, but now the machines had a lesson they wouldn't forget. A quiet moment, they finally stopped behind a small grove of trees, breathing heavily. The night was silent now, except for the soft rustle of leaves. Ryan looked at Lyra, who was sitting on a fallen log, her silver skin glowing softly. "You okay?" he asked. She nodded. "Yes. Thanks to you. Humans. Strong in will." Ryan smiled. "Sometimes brains and courage matter more than weapons." She looked at him with those large violet eyes. "Yes, humans. Worthy." For a moment, the two of them sat in silence, listening to the quiet of the world they had just protected together. The growing bond that night, as they returned to Ryan's house, neither spoke much. Their exhaustion was complete, but so was the unspoken understanding between them. They had survived together. They had fought together. Ryan realized that Lyra was more than just an alien visitor. She was a friend, a partner in the battle that no one else could understand. And Lyra realized that humans, small, fragile, and seemingly weak, had courage and cleverness that could challenge even the most advanced machines. Lyra finally said softly, "Tomorrow. We plan. More will come." Ryan nodded, lying down beside her. "Then tomorrow, we'll be ready." And as the night stretched on, stars twinkling faintly above, Ryan felt a thrill of hope. Humans were underestimated, yes, but together with Lyra, they could fight anything the galaxy sent their way. The promise of tomorrow before drifting to sleep, Ryan whispered, "No matter what happens, we stick together. You're not alone." Lyra's eyes glimmered. Together. Always. And with that, they closed their eyes, the quiet night offering a temporary peace. But both knew tomorrow would bring new challenges, bigger machines, and harder tests of courage. Yet for the first time, they also knew something else. Humans could fight back, and together they were stronger than anyone thought. The stars twinkled cold and distant above the town, but Ryan hardly noticed. His mind was restless, his heart pounding with a mixture of fear and anticipation. After the chaos of the drones, a new presence had appeared in the sky. A sleek alien ship, glowing with blue and silver light, hovering silently above the town. It was Lyra's people. They had come in person, not machines. Ryan and Lyra crouched behind the grove where they had hidden the night before. Violet eyes met brown. "They here," Lyra whispered, her glow dimmed with worry. "They want me." Ryan nodded, determination hardening in his chest. "Then we make them see humans are not weak. I won't let them take you." Lyra's hands trembled slightly, but she trusted him. Together they stood, ready to face the final test. The arrival of the alien ship. The ship hovered silently, almost like a predator waiting for the right moment. Then a hatch opened, and tall, armored aliens stepped out. They moved with precision and speed, their eyes scanning the ground. Ryan felt his stomach tighten. These were not drones. These were real warriors, trained for battle. Their weapons glinted under the stars, but he didn't flinch. He looked at Lyra, then at the approaching aliens, and his mind raced for a plan. "We can do this," he whispered to Lyra. Together. Her violet eyes shimmered. Together. The confrontation. The leader of the alien group stepped forward. His presence was commanding, his armor gleaming in the starlight. He spoke in a language Ryan couldn't understand. Lyra's glow brightened, and she repeated the words in broken English. "They say, you must come, now." Ryan squared his shoulders. "No, she's not going anywhere, not against her will." The alien leader paused. His gaze swept over Ryan. Then, almost as if surprised, he spoke again, slower. Lyra translated, "They did not expect human courage. You protect her." Ryan nodded. "We protect our friends. Humans don't give up." The leader's eyes narrowed, then flicked to the ship. He seemed to communicate silently with someone aboard. After a tense moment, he signaled. The other aliens froze. Lyra looked at Ryan. "You brave humans, strong." Ryan grinned. "You've got no idea." Using their advantage, Ryan noticed the ship hovering low, its lights scanning the streets. He had a thought, a risky one, but he whispered it to Lyra. "Use your glow. Draw them here." Lyra's eyes widened. "Dangerous?" "Yes," Ryan admitted. "But it's our only chance. We've been hiding too long. If they think you're easy to capture, they'll attack. But if they see humans can fight, maybe they'll listen." Lyra nodded, trusting him completely. She concentrated, her glow brightening until it illuminated the whole grove. The aliens turned instantly, surprised by the sudden brilliance. Ryan shouted, "Now!" and led Lyra running toward the town square, where obstacles, cars, and debris created natural barriers. Humans show their strength. The aliens followed, but the path was treacherous. Ryan used his knowledge of the town to lead them into narrow alleys and over fences. Lyra used small pulses of energy to disable the alien weapons temporarily. The humans watching from windows and doors were confused at first. Then they saw it. A human boy leading an alien girl and confusing highly advanced alien warriors. The aliens were cautious, now realizing that humans weren't as simple as they thought. Ryan could feel the shift in the leader's eyes, respect replacing arrogance. "We're strong," Ryan whispered to Lyra. "Not just you, not just me. Humans can fight together." Lyra smiled faintly, violet eyes glowing brighter. "Yes, stronger than they think." The alien leader's decision. Finally, the leader called a halt. He raised his hand, and the other aliens stopped immediately. The ship hovered silently above, engines low, waiting. Ryan and Lyra crouched in the square, breathing heavily but standing their ground. The alien leader stepped forward, closer this time. Lyra repeated his words slowly. "They say humans, clever, courage, strong. They understand." Ryan's heart pounded. Could they really leave without taking her? The alien leader turned to Lyra. She stepped forward, her glowing body steady. She spoke softly. "I choose stay, Earth, my choice." The leader paused, silent. Ryan could see tension in his posture. Then he nodded slightly. "Choice, yours, Lyra." Translated to Ryan, Ryan grinned. "Good choice. A satisfying resolution." The alien warriors stepped back, signaling their ship. Slowly it rose higher into the sky, engines humming quietly. One by one, the drones still scattered across the town powered down, leaving the streets silent. Lyra looked at the sky, then at Ryan. "They leave. No more trouble?" "For now," Ryan said. "And if they come back, we'll be ready." She smiled. "Thank you, humans, strong friendship." Ryan felt a warmth in his chest. This wasn't just victory. It was recognition. Humans could stand up even against beings who seemed far superior. The bond solidified. The days that followed, Ryan and Lyra spent more time together. Lyra explored Earth, fascinated by rivers, trees, and city streets. Ryan taught her about food, music, and sports. Lyra, in turn, shared advanced knowledge, ways to manipulate energy, how to move silently, and ideas that Ryan would later use in his own inventions. The town slowly returned to normal, with whispers of the blackout and strange lights fading into rumors. But Ryan and Lyra knew the truth. They had changed something fundamental that night. Humans were not weak, and friends could overcome the impossible together. The final goodbye, or not. Eventually, Lyra's mission called her elsewhere. Another portal was ready, this time fully repaired. She stood at the glowing circle in Ryan's bedroom, violet eyes meeting his brown ones. "I leave now. Must mission?" she said softly. Ryan nodded, trying to hold back the sadness. "I know, but promise me something." "Anything," she said. "Promise you'll come back. Or at least, write. Tell me what you see out there." Lyra smiled. "Promise, friendship, forever." With that, she stepped into the portal. The circle glowed brightly, then vanished, leaving only the faint scent of ozone and a feeling of emptiness. Ryan stood there for a long time, staring at the spot where she had disappeared. His life had changed forever, a changed world in the days that followed. Ryan noticed small things. He moved faster, thought quicker, and noticed details he had never seen before. He realized that humans weren't just survivors. They were clever, brave, and capable of great things. Even when no one believed him, he knew the truth. The universe was bigger than he had ever imagined. Aliens existed. Drones and spaceships could appear in his backyard. And humans, just humans, could stand against them if they were clever, brave, and determined. And somewhere out there, Lyra was looking at the stars, remembering a human boy, who showed her that the smallest beings could have the greatest courage. Ryan smiled faintly. "Humans are stronger than they think," he whispered.